live. There we go. Welcome to Nerdrotic Podcast, brought to you by Nerdrotic.com. I am one of your hosts, Dennis Bithoulkas. I'm in San Diego. And with me in San Francisco are my other co-hosts. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Gary Buechler.
And Melissa Wagner.
Live in San Francisco. What's up, party people and Expanse fans? How's it going?
Expanse fans, yes. We are bringing you the Expanse Season 2 finale. That's what we're covering tonight. And I don't know about you, but I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. Episode 13, Caliban's War, which is the name of the second book in the series. And they mashed a lot in, but just to start out with real quick, I like, and it's hard to get used to because another show used to do what I'm about to explain is Alias used to do this, where they end things in the third act and they give you the final act. They used to do it in episode form in Alias, where they would go like an episode and 3/4 of the way and then start a new plot thread, and then have it go. So you wouldn't have one solid episode. There'd be no standalone. And that's kind of what they're doing with the season.
Where it kind of works its way backwards.
It's kind
of retroactive threading. This
is where it ended in the books at the end of the book's third act. So, and it was good cliffhanger. It was a great cliffhanger. What do you think, Melissa?
Well, I mean, it was a good cliffhanger. It didn't feel super finale-ish. Like it wasn't as much as it maybe could have been. It kind of felt like it almost like was a setup episode, like almost sort of what you get at the beginning of the season. But I would imagine it's because they're going to go right into where they left off when we pick up.
Well, yeah. Like they did with this season.
But yeah, I wasn't totally like, oh my god, there wasn't the shock value that sometimes you get from a cliff. It
wasn't like the cliffhanger in Timeless where they just kind of completely screwed everything and you're just like, holy shit, and you don't know if there's going to be another season of it. That's kind
of what they did with Veronica Mars too.
Right.
That's exactly what they did with Veronica Mars. On this one, there is big cliffhangers to come. And those of you out there who are book listeners or readers know what I'm talking about. And I kind of thought they would do a couple of them, but they left the two big ones out. They gave you a taste of what's going on Venus. And we could start there because that's just a little snippet of the show. They really didn't spend a ton of time on Venus. And they decided to go to the surface, even though like only one probe made it. So, or were they just trying to get closer, Dennis?
They were trying to go to the surface to see what was going on there. They said they were heading towards the crater, and the one scientist played by Adam Savage from Mythbusters said, the crater's moving. So, yeah, obviously something's going on down there where stuff is moving on the surface. And I guess it was coming up towards them because we saw that, later on where their ship kind of stops. And I'm also, the Martian ship was also trying to race them down there as well, and it disappeared.
Yeah, because it was beating them to the surface there, and it just disappeared, and we found out why. Because the Protomolecule took the ship apart, and in perfect fashion, in beautiful fashion.
Oh, it was really, it was almost like a kaleidoscope of the ship. Like everything was like. It was very mathematical, like a bloom, that chaos of it.
And the first dead person you see floating out there is Adam from from Mythbusters. But you see the
dead. That was the whole thing because you see that their faces moving and things like that. I don't know if they were actually dead. I think
they were dying. I think they just got there. That was their moment right before they died. I mean, I don't know for sure. We are dealing with sci-fi, and we are from the land of comic books. So unless you see somebody die and get buried. And that doesn't mean all the time.
I see what Dennis is saying. It was almost like they were in a bit of stasis.
Yeah.
Because it was like a bit of frozen time.
And well, that one guy smiled.
Yeah, he was looking at the other scientist or the military guy, and he smiled. And you remember, you saw the protomolecule, the little blue fluffs entering the ship before the ship.
Oh yeah, pulled apart. And Melissa were like, "Oh, they're fucked."
Yeah, the little dots of light have infiltrated.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking is that the protomolecule uses every. You remember how Naomi says nothing? The Belters don't throw anything away. I don't think the protomolecule throws anything away either.
No, it uses everything. They explain that more in the books, and it's to gruesome ends. They've been playing it kind of light in the TV show. Like there's one scene in the books, it's not spoiling because it happened in the first book, where there's a rib cage and a spinal column attached to an arm, just moving itself up a hallway in Eros. And most everybody is again, they made it much nicer in the show. They turned everybody blue and sparkly.
Yeah.
It was brown and kind of poopish in the book, and disgusting.
Kind of
gelatinous, smegma, kind of, just bad stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. That's nice issues with the word smegma there.
You hardly ever hear that word used in a sentence.
You hardly ever do, but it was one of those words that when I was 12 and I first learned it, we would just say it to each other, just go smegma, just to make it. And I'm not going to describe what it is, y'all
podcasting with Beavis and Butthead.
Yes, y'all can look it up what it means. But let's get to the meat of the show. We spent the entire episode on the Rocinante trying to hunt down the
Stowaway,
the Blue Meanie. And they really drew this one out, even kind of longer in the book, almost too long, but not quite enough. And it was pretty accurate to the book. I was applauding that. And it starts out with Holden and Amos. Amos gets taken out again. Like every time we think we're going to get a Amos kicking some ass scene, he like cracks his his shield, and he can't, like he's losing oxygen, or he gets drugged by Naomi, or he gets cold,
or he gets shot.
I mean, yeah, or shot.
He got shot again.
I'm waiting for that epic barbarian Amos moment, because he reminds me a lot of Marv from Sin City a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, he does. He does actually do that. He does have, some good lines in this too, especially to Holden. He goes, you mainly did some good stuff when, you weren't just leading us on a death, trait, wild goose chase to death.
Yeah,
you tried doing some good stuff.
You made some stupid decisions, but you were trying to do the right thing.
They were coming from the right place.
Yeah,
Coming from the right place. Yeah,
that came out wrong.
yeah. You can see him growing as a character too, because he even notices. It's the first time he actually kind of notices. He's like, "Yeah, that didn't come out right. Here, let me try again."
I just said, but what, him getting injured did lead to like the whole shirtless sick bay scene. Shirtless, I'm like,
I was going to say, Mel.
I was like,
I thought Mel was going to like that.
I was like, rewind it. I can't. I'm like, why?
If you all are wondering what the next cover on YouTube of our episode is going to be, that's it. Okay, I've already been voted down on that.
But you have to remember, like, the thing that when I look at him and it's like you see these things, you have to remember this guy was not an actor. Like, he hasn't done a whole bunch of stuff. They're like, so we're going to just shoot you with like your pants down to here and your shirt off and stuff. You cool with that? And you can picture him going like, okay.
Is my dressing room that way?
No, he was more like, what?
Huh? We're gonna put your pants right above your pube line, It's like, wow. So in my notes,
I thought it was a great artistic choice.
I'm sure you did. I put gratuitous Amos scene.
Yeah. With a scene like that, you have to shave before you leave the house, and I'm not talking about your chest.
Yes. It's taking a trip to Brazil.
It's a Brazilian.
So the episode, it's a Brazilian. Sorry. The episode starts out so fast. Before the credits, we get Cotya shot, and it looks like Chrisjen and Bobbie are all dead. We get gratuitous Amos shot. Holden fesses up to being an asshole, and a monster is in the airlock. I mean, this is all before the credits start rolling.
Yes.
And that's kind of just how this goes. And like we talked about in the last couple podcasts, this is, I guess we could call it the Expanse pace. This show is paced so well, and they kind of lost it a couple episodes, not terribly or anything, nothing bad, but this is what basically how the whole first season went, and it just goes. And a lot of shows can learn from this, by the way.
A lot, yeah.
It's still got incredible acting scenes. It just doesn't stay on things too long. and even with the, most shows would have taken that scene with the monster and probably stretched it over 2 episodes. I know a CW show would, and then make it a musical. But sorry.
There was one thing that bothered me about this episode was Jules Pierre. He's off the yacht. We were told he's off the yacht. What does Aaron Wright have? All he has to do is just blow up the yacht. He's got it targeted, and he gets rid of Chrisjen, Cotya, Bobbie, all of them, because he doesn't really need them.
For one, Aaron Wright. I am saying Aaron Wright. Maybe the last 2 episodes I've been saying Aaron Hart. I don't know. I don't know why, ladies and gentlemen. I've listened to the books. I've heard the words Aaron Wright in my head. It's Aaron Wright. So thanks for pointing it out, all everybody. Keep pointing out it's awesome.
My errors.
Yeah, it's good because it's usually her. So it's
they're giving me a break.
Yeah, they're giving her some time off. That's a really good point. The only thing I can think of, Dennis, is maybe Aaron Wright doesn't want to take out Mao's people. I don't think Mao would like his yacht. His yacht destroyed.
That's a very fancy yacht.
And plus, his people are there with guns. So yeah, it was a typical Bond villain mistake, I'll say. Yeah. But I don't think
he knew that all his people were expendable. So all he had to do, as soon as Jules Pierre was off of there, all he had to do is go, you know what? I'm gonna push this little button here.
Well,
that's all he had to do.
Yeah. But the only thing I can think of is they were starting to fight over Ganymede again. So that might have taken his attention away. There could have been some reasons, but that is a good point that you bring up. A good villain who follows through would just destroy them and not wait for the other guy to do it. Maybe he needs to go back to villain school.
I guess so. Yeah.
Well, he did plenty of monologuing. So
I think it's probably just a move of arrogance. Like, okay, I'm gonna go. You guys all take care of that. You know what I mean? Like he figured they're so outnumbered. They're cornered in that room. Like, what could possibly go wrong?
It's kind of like when you send your assistants out to get your triple chai latte and they don't get the extra shot or whatever the hell goes in there. I don't know.
Because they called. His lackey calls him and says, "What do you want us? What do you want us to do? We've got her." And he's like, "Clean up the mess."
We called Mal. That was Mal.
Oh, was it Mal? Oh, it was Mal. Okay, I thought he called Aaron Wright. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So they're on the ship, and I missed the comment last episode, and I didn't catch it till like the 3rd time watching it, where Cotya says, "Oh yeah, we had a little, sorry we're late. We were checking in some luggage." Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, there's the armor. So we are gonna get the armor." And I was like, "Yes!" I
forgot to mention that last episode too. I had caught it, but I didn't say anything, and
it's okay because we got the armor, and it looked like for a minute that Cotya was gonna betray Chrisjen, and we kind of find out why he's even there. And he was supposed to protect her son, and he failed to doing so. And he's not doing this for her; he's doing it for him. And he was shot and bleeding, and it looked like he was dying at one point. And then Chrisjen, they wanted to negotiate. And Christian's like, "You don't have time to go in shock," and grabs his wound. He's like, "What?" He had the best "what the fuck" face I've ever seen. That was great.
I think she actually did pinch him because it looked like she dug her nails into his side, and they look like a real a vote of pain right there because he had that shock, and then he went back into acting mode.
Yep. I wonder. I wonder.
It was very believable.
Totally. I bet you she did. I bet you that's what's happened. That's great. And even if you could tell, that's kind of cool when the show does that. So and that scene pretty much went by the book too. They except the in the book the captain is kind of like, never mind. I'm just a captain of a yacht, and I really don't want to do this, So he kind of gives up pretty easy in the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this one Bobbie does battle a little bit, but she doesn't battle the captain, and the crew mostly does what the guy did in the hallway when Bobbie was running through the corridors and trying to get
the engineer,
the engineer.
Okay, and how weird was that whole little thing where I was like, doesn't he look a little too pleased that he's gonna get his ass kicked by this girl? He was into it.
Oh,
Well,
he was yeah.
Bobbie's whole little, her reaction though too to, can you rough me up a little bit and stick me one in the closet? She's like, like she did that little, sure.
I got a minute.
Help a brother out a little bit,
Yeah.
Could you just rough me up a little bit? That was hilarious.
I'm gonna remember that line.
No. Damn right. Sorry, overshare.
Rough me up and put me in the closet.
There you go. It's just another day at our house. So we have Prax and the crew, and they're still fighting the Blue Meanie, and Prax wants to talk to the damn thing. And that's understandable because he's identifying it may be his kid. I think he's pretty convinced this one isn't. But he knows it's somebody's kid, and maybe you can talk to it.
He's a scientist.
Yes.
So he's like, we have this whole thing. Yeah, but I mean, it's still...
Botanists aren't real scientists.
You're going to get a lot of...
There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of armed botanists in Humboldt up north who would have a...
Yeah.
Well, those guys aren't botanists. They're just hobbyists.
Farmers.
Okay, there you go. Farmers. Yeah, so...
Farmers, yes.
And when we first see the monster, it's kind of scratching itself, and it takes out a bomb, which is the self-destruct device that the Martians...
The regulator.
The regulator. And it tosses it out, and everybody's freaking out, but Prax is actually the one kind of thinking this through, going, wait a minute. And they're like, why didn't you knew it was in there? I guess Alex was yelling at him. Alex was getting kind of ragey at times. Probably understandably
It's a high-stress situation.
It was.
Well, Alex, you got to remember, Alex loves this ship now that he's got. He doesn't want anything bad to happen to it. So the more damage that happens to his baby, the more freaked out he's going to become.
Yeah,
and it's the same thing like Holden freaking out about the whole protomolecule. You get to see all these characters. There's a lot of I've been noticing a lot of archetypes happening, like people freaking out about certain things. And then also the other theme I've been noticing is a lot of people who don't have power suddenly get a lot of power, and their whole situation switches automatically. Or people who have a lot of power suddenly lose all their power and become powerless. It's very, very fast, very dynamic, and it's happening so frequently now. It's almost like a shell game. It's kind of annoying, honestly.
I love it.
I like my things a little more linear. We don't need everybody turned inside out all the time.
It's kind of gonna happen. What I'm seeing is the Rocinante crew. They're actually getting tighter. I know, especially the way things ended, you would not think that, but they actually are. They're remember when they started out, they hated each other. I mean, the only two people who liked each other were Amos and Naomi.
Yeah.
And Alex, last episode, said, hey, this is family. And, that gets thrown around a lot. And in the books, sorry, I'm going to in the books mode again. Out of we've got 7 books. The 7th book is going to be coming out, I believe. And they have only done 1 book where they do character perspectives from the crew of the Rocinante. Every other time it's just Holden. You're seeing things through Holden's eyes, and then they bring in new characters like Prax and Avasarala and Miller, and you're looking at things through their eyes, and that brings a new dynamic story. But in the 5th book, they go full on just crew of the Rocinante, which is the best book, and I hope they do that again, because you finally get to get in Naomi's head, and that's where she develops as a character in the book, and that's why in the show, Amos and Naomi are much better characters than they are in the book. I mean, they're still good in the book, but they are beyond good on the show.
From what I've heard from the book and a half I've listened to, it's like the Naomi character is far too soft.
Yeah.
I kind of found it funny though when she says, "Oh, you remember how we said we're not going to have any more secrets? Well, I've got 1 more secret," and it's like, no, actually, you have 2 more because you never told them about the kid either.
Yeah, I thought, which one is it going to be? But I mean, I don't know. The kid one, I don't think Holden would go, cool. Can't wait to meet him. The protomolecule.
That's not a secret. That's just not really been anybody's business.
And let's not bury the lead there. That's where the episode ends. She confesses to Holden that she has a protomolecule, but she makes a great argument leading up to it.
Yeah.
I was kind of like not mad at all. I was like, you're right. Earth has it, Mars has it, the belt needs it. And the belt has a pure copy of it too. I mean, it's an unactivated version of it. And she gave it to Fred Johnson, who we haven't seen in 4 or 5 episodes, and we just get a space shot of him just going,
which I don't know if he's the best person to actually.
That's what Holden's gonna think. I totally agree with that.
Well, because
the argument is solid. Like, I can see what she's getting at. But really, we know that Fred isn't he's not the best example of who should be the custodian of that, which was the whole thing that Holden worked so hard to make that not happen, and she went behind his back. That's not going to go over well.
No, it won't. But she couldn't give it to anybody else.
No, she couldn't give it to the Belters. No,
yeah,
that's true. I mean, she probably could have given it to Johnson's second in command.
Yeah,
I can't remember her name now. But
she would have given it to Johnson. She would have just automatic. She is loyal to Fred Johnson. And Johnson, I mean, he was dealt back in the game, and that's why I think he was smiling. Is he has power again.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, we had Aaron Wright last episode, who's fortune has changed so dramatically. Now we have Fred Johnson's fortune has changed so dramatically, and then we also had Chrisjen's fortune change so dramatically, and it's just like, come on, really? You guys are just, that's what I'm talking about, the shell game. It's like you never know whose fortune's going to change so dramatically in this series, and it's at the drop of a hat, honestly. And
they warn us about this. If you watch the first episode, they said, we're on the brink of war, and it'll just take a spark. And it was a blue spark.
Yeah, right.
Which is a great X song, by the way.
The Blue Spark.
Blue Spark is a great song by X. And they should totally use it in the show, by the way. There's your suggestion, Expanse people. Take it. And it happens a lot more. I'm just saying, and it is kind of weird that they say there's 2 big, God, I would have loved to have talked about them tonight. God, I'm kind of disappointed that I don't get to talk about them tonight, but there's 2 big effing cliffhangers coming up that are gonna, it would have made headlines. I guess it's better to make headlines while your show is on, better than when your show's leaving. Mm-hmm. So I do get that logic, and the book listeners and readers know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go.
Zip it.
Okay.
Buechler.
Yeah. There you go. So it's Prax who lures the monster out of, while everybody else is freaking out. The plant boy thinks of it like a plant, and it's looking for its energy source like a plant would do.
Nutrients. Yeah.
So they.
We forget to say that the Blue Meanie is actually bashing in the deck of the Rosamonte, trying to get to the radiation source. And as Amos so eloquently put it, if it reaches it, we're fucked.
Yes. I think he said we're kind of fucked, or was it really fucked?
No, he says we're fucked.
We're fucked.
Yeah, we're really fucked. Yeah.
That's good. I like watching it. There's other ways I can watch it where I can just hear the word fuck, because it does make a difference, especially when Chrisjen says it. Chrisjen says it artistically.
It's just her accent.
She does find. No, she finds creative ways of using it.
She does. It's just her accent. It's just an accent.
It always makes it sound so much more sophisticated.
It's just a six-pack. Whatever. Yeah. Okay.
It's just a manzillion.
a manzillion. There you go. Not a boyzillion. And it's not a boyzillion. It's a manzillion. There you go. So Prax and Alex decide to disarm a nuclear missile, which I guess is easy in the future, and it's a little ball. It's a little ball of nuclear. That's all.
Well, remember, they were using those nuclear warheads on Eros there. They were actually lining them up. Remember, they were going to blow the station? So that's left over. It was left over from one of those casings. God,
that's why this show is so great. It doesn't forget stuff like that. And Dennis is Mr. Detail to pick this stuff up. And that's why,
Well, yeah, and they were arming them. They were carrying around. She was programming them.
Yeah,
they're familiar with the warheads.
Yeah, and they're getting more and more familiar with their ship now, which is not even Martian as it used to be, because it's been put together so many times and beat up, and it's kind of becoming more custom. And I also like how all the ships are oriented like rockets. because of the gravity. And they don't fly. Just I don't know. I'm fine. It goes the extra.
Well, you don't need aerodynamics. Yeah, you don't need aerodynamics in space. There's no wind, so yeah, you can fly like that.
Yep.
Instead of having to fly like you could fly like that too if you really want to, but
it does. It changes orientation, and it has nothing to do with the gravity. I can't remember what the book said, but that's another reason why I love this show so much. Because some shows tend to go too heavy science and they get boring and static. This one hits the sweet spot on it perfectly.
It's the force. It's the amount of force from the thrust is what. That's why it goes this way instead of that way. That's all it is.
It's all about the thrust.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
that just sounds dirty when you say that.
It's all about the thrust. Yeah.
Right. So it was Prax's just his scientific curiosity that he keeps holding on to this ball and he's drawing the creature closer and closer. I think first of all, you're getting a good look at something that's walking around without a suit on.
In the vacuum.
Yeah. So nobody.
He was also studying the face.
Seeing that, and he's studying the face, and I think he wanted to see if there was going to be any sort of communication. Is it going to say something? I mean, it's humanoid. It's sort of created. It's this crazy hybrid sort of thing, and it's it's like in Colony when they get a hold of something, it's like they want to study it because if they study it, any little bit of information that they get, they're going to be able to use it against it when they need to. Right.
But the thing is that Prax wasn't going to get any communication, and we found that out, once he threw the nuclear ball, and it just went for it, without even thinking, because the protomolecule isn't a living organism. It's a machine. It's a tool. So the humanity is what makes it move. And these things, for one, this one died, but there's a lot more of them out there, and these things can move in space. They can fire them in space, and that's what they're made for.
So it doesn't have humanity. So what do you mean when it's it's humanity?
It's not humanity. It's hungry. Okay,
right.
But it can't have a conversation because
like a plant.
Because
it's a zombie. It's basically a zombie.
Yes. Thank you. The programming from the protomolecule is, and okay, little spoiler territory here. The programming from the protomolecule is you must get to work to do the job.
So it's German.
So yes, it's German.
You must work now.
You must work and be productive. No, that's what it is. I'm not going to say what the job is, but the protomolecule has a specific job, and I'm going to leave it right there.
Oh, okay. I'm okay.
That's it. You want to find out more?
Thanks for that insight, Gary Buechler.
Read the books, listen to the books, or wait till next season, whatever you want to do. James,
I'm so torn.
Audible.com has them for so cheap, and I'm not getting paid by anybody. Just do it. It's good. You'll like it. So that's what overrides the whole being able to communicate and everything. So yeah, what Dennis said, which I made way too long, is it's a Blue Meanie zombie that sparkles.
Ooh.
But not in a Twilight way.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
That's a lot of references
not in a
there.
Twilight way.
See, Gary actually likes a zombie show.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I like a couple zombies things. I like Return of the Living Dead.
Right.
That's a good movie.
And Dennis and I can plug that we're going to be doing iZombie.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we are going to be doing that starting tomorrow. Yes. That's right. I need to watch the new episode that just aired yesterday.
Right.
So.
We'll catch up on that tonight.
So my favorite part of the episode was right at the end when Naomi is confessing to Holden that she kept the protomolecule, and she was talking about war and how it's kind of never ending. And we had a slow motion scene of Bobbie coming in with her Iron Man armor on and kicking everybody's ass. And she puts her hand out to Avasarala, and Avasarala had this look in her face like, oh, this is my ticket back in the game. Or that's the one I got out of it. I mean, maybe I misinterpreted that. I don't know what you guys thought, but that was my favorite scene. What was
that
yours?
wasn't what I got from that at all.
What did you get from it?
No, what I got. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. What I got out of it was that this was her new protector. Cotya had basically sold her out. She saw that he wasn't there for her. He's there for her son, just to basically kind of fulfill a promise. And Bobbie is actually there for her. And that's her new protector. And that's someone she can.
I didn't get that. I think being there for her son is good. As a parent, I would rather have somebody there for my kid. Although he did fail her. Well, I mean, I don't know if he failed. Maybe the son did something stupid. Okay, we don't know the whole story. I did get a glimmer of hey, sexy, kind of that too.
You always get that glimmer.
I do. But
I think that, you know what,
do you think she felt betrayed by him?
Well, I'll tell you what I think.
Okay. No, I'm going to keep cutting you off.
No, I'm going to cut it too.
Awesome. You guys are really fun tonight. Well, you have to think it's like when she's at that big round table and she's at all of those meetings. Who's the other girl? Yeah, there isn't one. It's like she's a really kick-ass girl. When you don't run into other really kick-ass girls all that much, and that's what that was. That was like you know what? We got somebody who's like sweet and honest and kick-ass and loyal and like all of the things that she really admires. But she's got this great strategic brain. So it's like. So when she looks up, I think she's just in awe that that she's all of that package right there.
So,
and also too, it's like, remember, she is a parent, right? But she lost her child. It's like, she sees somebody who's got so much potential, and she's young, and it's very much untapped. Like, this is somebody she could really like grow with and mentor, and I think that she sees a good partnership. I don't think she sees somebody like filling in to be her protector because she's this great and awesome person. I think she really sees somebody it's like that she also admires.
So you're saying it's kind of like that 80s song, I've got the brains, you've got the brawn, let's go make lots of money.
Yeah, but that was the Pet Shop Boys. And I don't think it's even like, that I don't think she looks at her as just muscle.
Yeah.
Either. Yeah,
no.
Because she does. I mean, she did speak up. She left the Marines. You know what I mean? She left her Marine Corps to like come over and be honest and do the right thing. And and it probably took a lot to do that, even though she had some people that were just working her from her side and not appreciating her loyalty.
Well, Chrisjen has very good qualities, and she does genuinely care about some people. Two things from the books that whole look could have encompassed was there was a thing in the books in the beginning of Caliban's War where she's sitting down at the table with all the dudes, and she's all fucking men. There's all fucking men here. There's too much fucking testosterone, and they're all that's when right before they had the talks.
Yes.
But she has a maternal instinct towards Bobbie. She kind of sees her as a daughter, and she, Chrisjen has a daughter. I don't know if she does in the show, she does in the books, but she genuinely does start to care for her. But she also loves being in power in her game, and the books made that very clear. And
the show makes it clear too.
But her reasoning, which the show doesn't do, is she actually is there to do good. She actually wants to leave. She's like, I want to go listen to my husband play the piano. I actually want to do that, but we are so fucked right now. And we've got Aaron right, and we've got all these warmongering men right now, and we need me. She's all, I'm the person we need.
Yeah, they made that clear, though, too, when she's talking to her husband who's up on the moon.
Yes.
And she's like, I wish I could be there with you, but, shit's going down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's important that she stays in the game. So when she sees Bobbie, that's my ticket back. I don't mean it like, I'm going to use her and throw her out, but she would. Like Cotya, she would use and throw out. Yeah. I don't think she thinks she's. I don't know. I didn't interpret her being betrayed. I could be wrong though. I've been wrong before. So, but that whole scene was rad.
Yeah, I don't think she was being betrayed. I think that was a little moment of clarity. Like, let me give you some clarity. Like, I don't really feel like I owe you anything. But sometimes that's even better. It's like, I'm here and I'm doing all this, and it's not because I feel like I think that he really knows who's right and who's wrong in this too. And he's lending his support in the most positive way that he can.
Although when they're having the negotiation talks behind the table, and they're like, "We'll let you and the Martian go. Just give us, Chrisjen." And he stops, and she's just like looking at him, and she's got that murder death look in her eyes. Like, why are you thinking about this? Why are you even thinking about this?
But who wouldn't?
He really was.
And
yeah.
and you know what? Who wouldn't? Like, even I would at that point. I'd be like,
that was real.
Okay, I can get out of here. Like, should I take it? Like, is this the only way I'm going to get out of this? And I think that she even concedes, begrudgingly, but concedes, like, you know what? If you can get out of here, I guess you should probably do that.
Well, yeah, she makes the decision for him and says, I'm going to give myself up. You guys get out.
Mm-hmm.
And just takes the decision out of his hands. And he's like, nope, I told you, I'm here for your son. I'm here to protect you.
Yeah, it was a good exchange. I mean, there's a lot of different aspects to that. It makes it kind of complicated, but she could have done that because she can see him waffling and he wants to do it, and she lets him off the hook.
Yeah,
she does. But that's what makes this show better than others. Was those little moments of a guy sitting there during the gunfight being real and going, wait a minute, I can get out of here right now. Hang on.
Hold, please.
Hold, please. So, Melissa, what was your favorite scene?
Seriously?
We already know which one her favorite scene is. Come on.
I'm going to say, I was really
just
happy.
Pretend somebody didn't see the beginning of the show, okay?
I'm going to say that I'm really happy that Amos is feeling better.
Yes. And he does his sit-ups. A lot of core workout.
He's yeah.
I gotta.
And then the second one was the guy smiling about, like, can you rough me up a little bit? I was like, they did not take time to do that.
What's about brevity? I like that. How about you, Dennis?
I've got two scenes, honestly. It's when Holden is sitting in the med bay again, getting his crushed leg, repaired, and everyone keeps saying, "Hey, how's it going?" Slap him on the leg. He's like, "Ah!"
I forgot all about that. That was a really good one.
It made me laugh just because they were doing it on purpose.
Yep. And that happens all the time. That's real too.
Because Alex does it and Amos does it.
Yep.
And it's just really funny. You can see how those two are so totally alike, yet it's completely different.
Yep.
And my second favorite scene was actually the very end, where we see Dr. Strickland putting May in her little pod out on Mars.
God, so creepy.
And
whistling.
Whistling the song that Amos whistles.
Yes.
That was Thanks for bringing that up. That was a surprise. Even for us book people, were like, "Whoa!" I went, "Wait a minute, that's the one he whistled in the beginning when he's, I think he was welding something, but he whistles a couple times where they make you think of it."
Yes.
I think I even asked him about it or so. I can't remember. Please correct me. But there's something to him whistling that's definitely a connection. So that was awesome.
Yeah,
and all those pods.
How many pods were there?
There were hundreds.
So there was more than one scientist gathering up specimens.
Oh yeah. That's not just him.
Yeah, and it's all kids because remember, May didn't have the protomolecule on her. She was just being put into stasis.
Yep. Poor little May. But that was, thanks for bringing that up. I almost blew right by that. So, that was brilliant. And there's a lot to think about for next season, but they made damn sure to let us know that there's going to be a third season. And honestly, I think there's going to be a fourth. I don't think maybe not beyond that, but I think we'll get a fourth season. But next season's going to, believe me, kick ass. There is so much good stuff happening. This was almost a transition season. I mean, and this was a great season. But this was a transition season because what's coming is we still don't know what the protomolecule is, who made it, what it's making,
where it came from.
We don't know shit.
Oh my God, it's like Stonehenge. How much we don't know.
I know. All right. Everybody's about to go to war, but they're not at war yet. And this wasn't a very happy ending now I think about it. Everybody's got a weapon to kill themselves. They're all about to go to war. There's still another thing that possibly wants to kill everybody else. That looks like it's having its way with the planet. Naomi is lying to Holden. And We don't know how he's going to take it. Amos seems to be okay, though. He's doing his sit-ups. Alex's ship is a little beat up.
And waxing.
And Dawes is out there. Fucking Dawes. We didn't see Dawes the rest of the season. Thank God he didn't get the protomolecule. That's who I thought had it for a second. I'm like, she did not give it to Dawes.
No.
Yeah, I mean, because Dawes took off completely, and he's got the other scientist, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he'll be back. So
Yes.
all this is gonna go down. So bravo.
And
great season.
And we also have war. Obviously, war starting again around Ganymede.
Yeah, they only talked about the firing starting again in Ganymede. And the price this is gonna, again, this is real space, so it costs money to build these ships. There isn't an endless amount of them. There's only, they even talk about it in the show, each, like Mars has more ships, they have like 50. Earth has like 37, 38. No, Earth has more, but Mars has better ships. That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the Belters don't have shit. And everybody's fighting each other right now, and they're depleting all their resources. Remember?
And they're about to have no food.
And they're about to have no food. Yeah.
Right.
So happy show.
That could be a really good reason right there why they didn't blow up that yacht, because it's actually, there is a limited amount of like ships to like pay people around. So if somebody put a lot into that, it actually does have a lot of value. It'd be really terrible to blow it up.
Well, and that's what Mao has been hiding on. That has been his house. So I don't think he'd want it blow up. I don't know. Bravo. This episode was written by the writers, the two writers of the books, and that's why it was so spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
great.
So
you just said that there's like the 7th book.
This there is Babylon's Ashes. Babylon's Ashes is the latest book that just came out next year, and Persepolis Rising is coming out November 16th. So Expanse fans, if you are caught up on the books, if you want your fix, November 16th of this year, they get Persepolis Rising, which is book 7. There's only going to be 9 books, they say. So we're gearing towards the end here. If you haven't caught up, you have plenty to do till the next season.
I think
2018.
We just need to make sure that they have a lot of fans, which is why I participate in this podcast, to make sure. And I tell everybody to start watching it if they are not already watching it, so that we have a good fan base, so that they stay motivated to keep making seasons.
What the one of the most fun things about the shop is when I found something I liked and I just felt like everybody needed to read it, I would not stop talking about it. And Dennis is the same way too. I know you know, but you're the same way. We try to work it into sentences. I mean, like, as much as Dennis tries to work Rick and Morty into every sentence, and I understand that because I try to work Expanse into everything too. So
I've given up with you on Rick and Morty. I already know it's not going to work. So
no, it's a good show. I'm just not going to watch it. I can still say it's good. They can both be true. It's good. It's something good that I will not watch. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like what Joss Whedon said about anime. It's something I really appreciate that I will never watch.
Well, John says that a lot too. Like, there's a lot of great stuff out there. It's just not my jam. So don't watch it.
But you know what? I'm pretty much everybody I know and like watches Rick and Morty. So watch Rick and Morty, please. So let's wrap this up. All of our videos and podcasts can be found at www.nerdrotic.com. We have a YouTube channel, which we are currently live on, which is the Nerdrotic channel. Our last Expanse podcast it's our second most viewed podcast. So thank you, Expanse fans. You guys freaking rock. I'm going to try to think of a prize for you. I don't have a bunch. There's no Expanse merchandise other than books.
What?
But we've had a lot.
We might find something at Comic-Con.
Yes, we're going to Comic-Con, and it's going to take me about a month or so, but we've had some return commenters on the YouTube page. I'm not forgetting about you. I'm sorry I haven't responded, but we're going to send you guys a couple little something. If you're into Doctor Who, we're going to be doing Doctor Who prizes. We're going to be doing weekly Doctor Who podcast right here. We also have a Facebook page, the Nerdrotic Podcast. Please check us, like us out, rate us, like us out, check us out. Same thing, and rate us and comment, and please subscribe to us on iTunes. Subscribing to us on iTunes and commenting is another quick way to possibly get a prize. And we're going to be doing a lot more prize packages in the future. So yeah, unless anybody else has anything else to say, Dennis, take us out.
Well, we've also got our Twitter accounts as well. I know Melissa's got a Twitter account at Agent Bossy Boots. You've got a Twitter account at, well, it's actually our Twitter account for our podcast here. It's at Nerdrotic. And I have a Twitter account at DeForce. John has a Twitter account at JohnReed16. We also have an Instagram. Did you ever mention the Instagram? Or no?
Yeah, the Nerdrotic Instagram.
No, you didn't.
So if Instagram is the way that you want to get your alerts, we're going to be popping things up on there. And then you can comment also on the Expanse post to enter the contest.
Everywhere.
All of our Twitters are in the body of this video too. You can look right below we're recording, and our Twitters are down there. And so is our website. So Dennis, now you can take us out.
I can. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, America.
May the small folks sing songs of your greatness.
And resistance is futile.
Good
night, everyone.
I'm going to get up now.